If you're somebody who is interested in managing cybersecurity in your organization or trying to get your head around how to manage cybersecurity in your organization, in this video, I'm going to be talking about some really basic practical tips and principles that you can follow to get started on your journey to strategically manage this new emerging area of risk. If you're somebody who is kind of part of the risk management framework in the organization, lots of our audience here at Best Practice TV, look after quality systems, environment systems, safety systems. And if information security or cybersecurity systems is now kind of falling into that integrated risk management system, then this video is a really great practical way to talk through some of the principles that can help you get started. What do you need to be aware of? What do you need to start learning? And I'm going to go through some areas. We are starting to produce some material here at Best Practice. We emailed out a guide to our existing clients a couple of days ago. There's going to be more content coming. So please make sure that you get yourself onto the client list here at Best Practice because we do have very specific information and guidance notes and advisory notes that we're sending out to our clients. So always great to have everybody here at Best Practice TV. My apologies for the live stream last week. That was pre-recorded. I have been suffering from COVID, out of isolation and back now. I'm at about 80%. I'm coming along. So I'm going to make this short and sweet because my voice is still struggling. So I'm not fully recovered. My apologies for live stream last week. We had to produce or send out a pre-recorded one, run a pre-recorded one at the last minute because I couldn't make it into the studio. So we're back on deck, back here, same time, same place every week. It's always great to know where everybody's watching from around the world. We've got a great global audience, and I want you guys to kind of talk to each other. So there's the comments there on YouTube. So please go ahead and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I've got a big dashboard. So there's a big TV here in the studio up on the wall, and I can see our live stream on LinkedIn and our live stream on YouTube. And I've got Cam and Jack helping us here in the studio at the moment. Which is really cool. So if you have got questions and you want to make notes or comments, they're either on LinkedIn or on YouTube. You can go right ahead and do that, and I'll be able to see them. So that's a great way for you to ask me questions. What I'm going to get into now is a couple of things. I guess an explanation as to our why here at Best Practice. We're all about helping organizations to be great places to work, great places to buy from, and great places to invest in. And we're branching out, and you will have noticed this in our content in the last couple of months, branching out more into covering the information security and cybersecurity area of risk management. And the real question is, why are we doing that? It's by far the most popular content on our website right now, and it's by far it's getting the most hits on our YouTube channel, and it's getting the most hits in terms of people searching for information on our website. And so based on that, we're getting lots of questions. So we're here to produce more content in that area because it's by far the most popular area on our website. The second thing that I'm saying is that for those of you who are working with us or working in the industries and looking for content, your government clients, like your company, your organization, if you get any funding or you have, from government, or you have customers that are government departments, they are strengthening and increasing the questions that they're asking around information security and cybersecurity. So I'm starting to produce more videos, more content, more guides to give you more information to be able to empower you to answer the questions that are coming up in tenders and submissions and customer requirements. Myself personally, I've just been through a huge audit looking at our cybersecurity processes for an external interested party. And the work that we had to do, I thought we were pretty good, and we have gone very well, but the level of detail and information was quite significant. And it has matured my knowledge a lot around information security and cybersecurity. So today, what I thought I'd do is just keep relaying the building blocks of first principles. Why are we here to do this? What's it all about, and what you can focus on. I have got some notes because I don't want to miss anything. So I'm going to work my way through these notes right now. And we can really talk about that. So if you are somebody who's got a quality system, a safety system, environment system, then what you may be going to be thinking about doing in the next 12 months is adding an information security management system or ISO 27001 into your management system. And what we're offering here at Best Practice at the moment is if you want us to come in and do a gap analysis, health check on your information security with a view maybe down the track of having your management system align with that international standard, we can do that right now. And we've actually got a special on at the moment. You can reach out to our business development team And for $7,500 plus GST Australian, we can come and do that gap analysis and health check. And I'd recommend that you get onto that right now, because our team are getting busier and busier every day with more bookings. And we want to get you onto a head start, so that if you do government tenders, or if you have government funding and anything like that comes up in the next 12 months, which it will, if you've already got government clients, then in the new tenders and the new panel submissions that are going to come out in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, I should say, and for the rest in future, you're going to be asked about information security and cybersecurity, particularly here in Australia, Canada, the US, the UK, those jurisdictions. They're doubling down on government supply chain information and cybersecurity. And so you can't afford to be ignoring the information. And I'm compelling you and inducing you as best I can to get organized and be on the front foot with this issue. It's always great to have hindsight and say, yeah, we'll get around to that and do that. I'm trying to motivate and inspire you to move on this now, because if you move on it now, it's going to be much easier than doing it reactively down the track. So whatever I need to do to convince you that it's a valuable thing to be working on, I'm going to keep working on that. Why are we doing it? We are all about protecting your organization's money, your organization's data, and your reputation. Now, don't just assume it's your data. It could be your customers' information and your customers' data that you have. So this is all about protecting your money, your data, and your reputation. And reputation specifically, because it's not like 3 strikes and you're out with the government departments and government tendering. It's like 1 strike and you're out, because they can't afford to have issues at a government level. So if you are involved in the government supply chain, you've got to get onto this now, and it's urgent. So don't delay. Okay, let's get into some of my tips and tricks and talk about some of the stuff. I've been into over the last couple of webinars, the last couple of weeks, we talked about malicious software and malware and scam and phishing messages. Today, I wanted to double down more on the concept of ransomware. And if you are running a system and you have, someone opens an email and it downloads a script accidentally, and it gets into and infects your system and it becomes ransomware, rule number 1 is never pay a ransom, because there's no guarantee that the guys on the other side that are basically cyber criminals are going to honor their word that I'll pay the ransom and we'll release everything. They're just going to attack you again and again and again. So the government, there is government assistance available, particularly in this jurisdiction here in Australia. I know there's government assistance available in Canada. I know there's assistance available in the US, and I know there's assistance available in the UK. Other jurisdictions maybe we can talk about, but essentially there are cyber criminal units available in the policing jurisdictions to help you deal with those situations. But obviously that's the emergency situation. What's the preventative strategy? The preventative strategy is to be moving your systems into the cloud. And for on-site systems and localized systems that you do have, is to be running backups. So if you do have an issue with ransomware, you can roll back your instance of your software or your database to a time when you did your backup. So provided the ransomware script is not existing in that backup, you can roll back to a situation. You might lose 24 or 48 hours worth of data, but if you can afford to kind of update that information, or it only gives you a small level of risk exposure, it's about rolling back. So the best way to deal with ransomware is to reset everything, roll back to a backup, and then build back up from that backup time. So obviously the more frequent you do those backups, you don't run the risk of having to roll back too fast. So if you're doing weekly backups, you'll have to roll back a week in terms of your data or the information you've inputted. So that's the first one, obviously. The second thing is, as a preventative strategy for ransomware, is make sure that you're encouraging and training your team to be allowing automatic updates. And what I've seen as an emerging trend is to be ensuring that your team members, I know no one likes to do updates in the morning. They get to work, they want to fire up their computer, and the computer's saying, please let me do an update. And they're saying no, so they can get on and check their email or make phone calls or do their work. And so I get that it's frustrating and it's a friction point and you just want to get on with your day. But if you can train your team to be installing updates at night, and so downloading and installing updates, automatic updates, when they, leave their desk to go home, they can do that, lock their computer and go home. So rolling out automatic updates is really important, and selecting the settings where those things are turned on. And then obviously running what's called an endpoint review report or an endpoint register, which is, and your IT support person, or you can learn how to do this yourself, is it looks at all the endpoints or all the devices that are logged into your system. So with the emergence of the Internet of Things and lots of devices in workplaces being connected to the internet, you can run an endpoint register and you can try to identify all the devices and see if somebody may be dialing in, a different, a hacker might be coming in independently or remotely into your system. You'll see that as an endpoint device, and you can kick that endpoint device off your network. So from a ransomware perspective, there are some great preventative strategies. Let me just go into a couple more tips. I've just got a few that I'm going to work through here. Let me just look for my next one. Here it is right there. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about access control. From a small business perspective, and I'll get to comments, any questions, let me know where you're in the world you are watching for, anyone that's come on. But as you build your information security or cybersecurity management system, access control is a critical part of risk management, and exposure is a pretty critical part of risk management. So the limited amount or the less people involved or able to log into systems, the more secure a system is. You want to have redundancy, like 2 people or 3 people able to access systems, but don't give everybody access to everything. They don't need it. It just complicates life. So keeping it simple is really important. So transitioning your employee accounts, rolling them back from administrator. Don't make everybody an administrator. Make people users, and use the administrative privileges and the different levels of privilege in software packages and software systems. Use them properly. It's really easy, and I know that as an entrepreneur and somebody running an organization, it's just so much easier if I just give admin access to everybody. But what I do find is that, not intentionally, but people just make mistakes. And that's where most of our issues come from, is just comes from human error. So we limit that now, and we have key people that are administrators, and then everybody else is just a user, and they can't break the systems, and then they can't leave the systems exposed to cyber threats. So basically going through and reviewing access permissions for all of your files and all of your cloud-based systems, and using those features and facilities in those systems to minimize exposure. The next one is obviously not sharing accounts or passphrases between staff. That's a challenge, particularly if you've got users that need to log into an individual system, or a system's not built for that. There's definitely things like that here at Best Practice, where there are common free software packages where we have one user, for example, and people log in, multiple people log in using username and password. So they are non-business critical packages. The business critical software packages and systems and platforms that we use all have very specific username and passwords for each individual user, with access permissions defined. And remember to revoke access. When someone leaves the organization or they're not using it anymore, not required to, revoke access. And I'm very good at that. We need to get in quickly and revoke access to people. And I do that all the time. In some instances, it creates frustration, but you can always reinstall somebody. But it's difficult if you haven't revoked access, particularly disgruntled employees or contractors who might have been involved, who accidentally leave computers on in their second bedroom, and then their 7-year-old comes on and starts playing Minecraft. Those are the kinds of issues that they're the real life situations, particularly parents with young teenage children. That's mostly the area of risk as they're downloading free games and free software. The last thing I wanted to just cover, because I want to make this quick because my voice is running out, I can feel it already, is the use of passphrases. Rather than password, you'll notice the narrative has recently changed in the last 24 months to the use of a passphrase instead of a password. Something that's easy to remember, but it's got more characters, much harder to crack. And then the second part, to passphrase, the use of passphrases. Maybe it's a poem, or maybe it's a limerick that's a number of words that forms part, that becomes your password, if you like, but it's a passphrase. Obviously, characters and numbers as well make it incredibly hard to crack those. And then turning on two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication using something like a Shield system or Google Authenticator, or a text message. I think two-factor authentication via text message is probably a good way to go forward, so that you'll go to log into a system. If the facility exists where that system can text you the 6-digit or 8-digit or 10-digit code for two-factor authentication, I think that's a good way forward, either text or email, because then someone needs to have access to 2 systems. I like the text message format personally. So really that was what I wanted to get into today, just to quickly talk about information security and cybersecurity. If your organization has a management system in place for quality, safety, environment, asset management, then we want to be adding cybersecurity to that system. I want you to get our team on board to do a cybersecurity health check and help you start building the preventative maintenance management system that helps your organization to protect this area of risk with a view down the track to facilitating the process of certification. We have ISO 27001. It's the international benchmark for information security management systems. It's a natural addition to a quality or safety or environmental management system. And if you are involved in government supply chain, it's going to become mandatory, particularly in jurisdictions here in Australia for local, state, and federal level. It's a new requirement. I want to get on the front foot with you guys. So get your health check. We've got free checklists that you can download yourself. I'd recommend downloading one of our free checklists from our website right now and starting with an information security, cybersecurity internal audit, and then you can build from there. We can do that process for you. We can do a stage one. We can review where your management system's at, and we can give you some like a gap analysis if you like. So I'd like to get started with that. I don't often sell to you guys in these webinars, but that is how we bring value, is doing that commercial work that we do. And we have a very strong team in that area, and we can do it all remotely. So it's not like we need to come out and see you. We can do it all remotely via a facility like this where we're in the cloud and you're on your workplace, and we can do that review for you. Okay, doesn't appear to be too many comments today, or any questions. So next week, we're going to have lots more coming to you, lots more great content coming. Please ensure that you reach out to the team. So the email notification you got for this webinar today, reply to that. Make sure you've got yourself a copy of the guide that we sent out last week, and get yourself on board with the little small business guidebook that we're putting together, so you can get a copy of that when it comes out. Okay, that's about it from me. So thank you everybody who's watching live on YouTube. I appreciate your time. This has been Best Practice TV. There's lots of stuff happening on the bestpractice.biz TikTok account and Instagram account. I know a lot of you guys follow me on social media, but jump across and search for bestpractice.biz on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, so that you can get up-to-date information from us on those social media platforms. It will mean a lot to me if you jump across onto those platforms and give any of those posts that you see a like. That'll mean a lot to me. So, okay, that's it. That's all from me today in terms of this webinar. I hope it's been very helpful. We've got guides coming out to you. If you think that you'd like to explore getting an information security, cybersecurity, gap analysis, and health check from our team, please reply to the email or comment below, and we'll get one of the team to talk to you about organizing that and getting you underway. I hope you've got enough information to make a decision. If you don't have enough information to make a decision, please hit me with questions at any of my contact details. Let's work through those so you can keep moving. Okay. If you have got enough information to make a decision, let's make that happen. Okay, that's been it from me. Lots of stuff on Instagram, lots of stuff on LinkedIn. And if you don't see me on those platforms, you'll definitely see me right here next time on Best Practice TV. Bye for now.